Okay.
So on this title, I can call you like a strong feminist or just a feminist.
I think you can call me a feminist.
Okay. So what's a feminist? Because to me, like right now, I'm not even sure what it is. I just have bits of.
Okay. So.
From your definition.
Feminism.
Yeah.
To me, I would simply just like define it as like feminism as like a concept. I would define it. Actually, I can borrow from Chimamanda Adichie. She's an author and like she's a great author and she's a feminist. Anyway, she was on the Beyonce song. The what's the name of that song?
Which one?
You know that song where there's like a Nigerian lady giving like a feminist speech? It's not flawless. No, it is. I
really don't pay attention to feminists.
You don't. You listen to Beyonce. Everyone knows the song.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's because I still don't understand what it is, and it's all over the place. Like, right, Amber Rose is a feminist, right?
Yeah, she is.
Okay. You support her movement?
Wait, let me define it first.
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
So
before
anyway,
we go to the slut walk and everything, right?
Yeah. So Chimamanda defined it in a TED talk.
Yeah.
And in a book, which she got, like, it's basically a TED talk turned into a book.
Yeah.
And she said that feminism is the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes, which I think is just a very, like, umbrella definition of what it is. And I think, like, beyond that, being feminist is, to me, just, like, acknowledging and accepting the social, political, and economic difficulties that women throughout history have suffered disproportionately to men because they are women.
So, but that's in relation to history or what's even current?
Throughout history and currently.
Do you think women are still being oppressed right now, like in this country?
Yes, in
what ways?
In different ways.
I think like women are getting like all the opportunities like right now. Like when people are crying boy child, like it's not even funny anymore. Have you seen
Which
like the depression rate of guys like in this country right now skyrocket high?
And you
know that, right?
And do you know why? Even when we look at when you're looking at feminism, you cannot. I don't think you can look at feminism. Because
feminists are all about like even now in Nairobi, it's all like Kenyan men are trash, niggas ain't shit. That's just the whole theme and climate that's going around. And a lot of people now, guys feel like they're not really good enough for like they're women.
But you see, that's not the like when you talk about even like the depression rate in men. I know even like suicide rates in men are way higher.
Yeah.
Men are more likely, but that's not because of women. That's
because of feminists.
No, it's not because of feminists. It's because of patriarchy. Men also suffer. You know, I think that's another thing that is excluded when you talk about feminism.
Do you want to define patriarchy for my straight people who don't know what that means?
Okay, patriarchy is just basically...
And please use a language that they would understand, like not like the way you define feminism. I know people still have to go to the dictionary to find all the words that you used. Please, break it down in a very simple way that people can understand. What's patriarchy?
Okay, patriarchy simply is just... it's just, let me say... how do I put this simply? Like... okay, let me just say it like this,
Yeah.
For a very long time...
Yeah.
Men have been in... every public space by themselves, like they have excluded women. When you look at professional professional careers, it's always been men who've dominated. When you look at like parliament, governance, it's always been men who've dominated positions of leadership, even in religious, like in the religious sect. When you look at the leadership there, it's always men who've dominated.
What?
Yeah, they have.
I do videos for this lady pastor who's like really doing it big in the game.
Yeah, that's one lady pastor. But if you look at
do you
history,
think it's cause
for a very long time, the world has almost the public. Let me say the public sphere, like the world, in terms of like public spaces. When I say public spaces, I mean your profession, the legal space, the political space, economic spaces, those have been dominated by men, and that is what patriarchy is. It's just
Okay.
like an institutionalized, like, male dominance.
True, but that's, I would say that was in the past, because like right now, would you still say it's the same thing?
We've not even achieved our 2/3 gender rule. It was put in the constitution 10 years ago.
Because like now, if you go in a lots of offices or even job opportunities, it's just women.
But look
Like
at the
even
people
these-
in leadership. You're telling me,
I think it's just
John, you
maybe
truly and honestly think this country is led by women?
a lot of them.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you why.
We live in two different countries.
No, I'll tell you why. Most of my paychecks come from women. Because I think it's just a delusion that people have, and they say like, no, like women are really doing it big.
Women are. I'm not saying that they are not. I'm not saying
better
that
than
they're
even
not.
guys. Maybe it's just because they are, and plus I think they don't maybe want to be in that space. Because if they want to, we'll definitely be there.
Who?
If you want to be in like that certain position where like you're taking like all the responsibilities, because certain positions come with all these responsibilities, and I think maybe just
You think women just don't want to be in positions
a
of
good
leadership?
example. We had the terror attack like recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't see any women officers in the line of fire. I didn't even see one.
You think that our military is led by women?
I mean,
You think-
don't they exist?
They exist.
Even private licensed
But do you
gun
think,
holders.
okay, let me ask you. Even
But-
when it's no, let's even
Yeah.
talk about that example you've given.
Yeah.
Even in such a situation,
Yeah.
it's not on a voluntary basis. They don't come and they're like, oh, who wants to go defend people today? And you're like, oh, me. No, see, they're selected.
No, listen.
So you
Not
should
even
look
about
at
that selection.
How did they end up? How did we end up with only men at the front line?
Listen, it's cause like even like there
It's
were
not because women were like,
there were those like
think
fast
they can-
responders to the situation. Like you just hear walkie-talkie, like yo, there's a problem at Riverside, blah blah blah. Like and people,
First
everybody was
responders
just.
and
Are
the
you telling me there are no women who had like that message, like yo, there's something going down at Riverside? Like, let's
Are you
just
talking
go
about
there.
first responders, or you're talking about
Okay, just in general, like
even
after-
first responders? You mean like the civilians?
Yeah, it was men though.
Yeah, which women are trained with guns
No,
in country?
no,
That's
we're
not a
talking about-
popular thing.
You don't have to. I mean, wouldn't you want to be in that situation?
You have
like
to.
and
For you to
protect
go- for-
your men?
You have to, but for you to put yourself in
Yeah.
a position where you're saving other people's life,
Yeah.
you have to be trained in some sort of like defense. You have to know how to use a gun. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
yourself will hurt yourself. You'll hurt people. It's,
but I'm
I would
just
have loved to
saying,
help,
like, even
but I
in-
don't have the. I
Di-
don't have the. Like the intelligence in that area
No, I
to
mean,
go and help.
Helping is just dragging someone like instinct. Just try and
It
think
doesn't
about
work
this
like
way.
that.
You'd see like a
You
lot
would
of
cause so much chaos. Like seriously.
no, but did you see like a lot of just people like just playing civilians who were just coming to like give a helping hand and pulling people out and stuff? I didn't see any women there trying to.
Okay, the ones who are like help.
The one
like,
I know who was there, and listen.
the one who was
funny
serving
thing-
tea.
You see?
Yeah, the lady who
see?
was serving tea.
Yeah, and then she might be bashed because now people will be like, oh no, now you're trying to say like the woman, all they can
No,
do is
but you
just
see,
naming-
even that-
But you see, like even for her, she was like, okay, I can't do this, but if I do this as a woman, I am still contributing.
So you've said that if I can't do
no,
this.
listen, you see the way Kwanzaa, you've just already changed
no,
your
you
face
see,
to
but no, I'm not. No, I'm saying.
No, but of course she couldn't, even with
Yes,
her age,
why?
she couldn't, like her
Okay,
age.
but why do you think women can't?
I just think
Or
we
let's
just-
let's not even use the word can't. Why do you
We've just
why do you
been
think
wired.
women didn't?
we're just wired
How?
differently.
You're not wired.
A
You're
man-
socially constructed differently. Let me tell you. You grow up as a
Institutionalized.
woman. Yes, you grow up as a woman thinking that fighting is for men. You're discouraged from when you're very young to be rough and stuff like that.
They
You think
shouldn't.
those
Women
ideas,
shouldn't. You know why?
You think those ideas don't? You think they'll go away when you're an adult? Of course, now by the time you're 40, you can't
Yeah.
fight. You can't save someone else. You cannot. You don't know how to use a gun. You don't know how to respond in any like emergency situation because your whole life
True.
it's been your dad or your brother or your husband. You see what I mean? And that is an idea that feminism is trying to deconstruct. Feminism is now saying, look, it doesn't have to be like that. First of all, that's not a biological thing. That's a social thing. And if you bring up women the way you bring up men, encourage them to be in these like situation. I mean, encourage them to take up like these professions or hobbies or expertise that are supposed to be for men or traditionally for men. They thrive. And they can do it. You know, in another, you know, maybe like 50 years when we are bringing up our children, God forbid there's another attack, you will see women. I'm telling you.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying like just naturally how things happened. I mean, that was not like, you know, they just said, I don't think they said like we just want the men there.
Okay.
I'm just saying that.
For the first responders, I agree. That's true.
Like even just men who were just there like helping, like just people on the roadside and stuff, like people who were just helping out, like pulling bodies and doing all. So you've seen like the testimonials of the survivors and stuff. Like you'd hear like most stories of the men, they were like, we were trying to pull bodies, we were trying to rescue.
Yeah, you see.
We were trying to.
Yes. And because that's something that's encouraged in young boys. And you grow up knowing through adulthood that you're strong. You can protect, you can fight. And
you can provide.
You can provide, or you're supposed to. You're supposed to provide. And if there's any situation, you know it's you. It's up to you. You know what I mean? If there's any like aggressive situation. You know? And for women, you're brought up the opposite. So you want to tell me, how are you going to wake up one day and suddenly...
Hold on.
Okay, it's okay. So the idea that women are nurturing and like homemakers basically, and men are, you know, strong and the protectors and the providers is a patriarchal idea. And if we want gender equality, we need to deconstruct it. And that's what feminism is about. Because that idea comes from... I've just talked to you about like the public sphere. I just mentioned that, That idea comes from that whole private and public sphere dynamic. Like men belong in the public sphere. That's like a professional space, a legal space, a political space, a space of leadership. And then women belong in the private sphere, which is like the family, you see. And when you separate people like that and you raise them like to believe that that's how they are,
this is how it's supposed to be,
then they become adults who genuinely think my husband, who you know those people who are like, oh, my husband's so nice, he babysat he was babysitting for me today. And I'm like, you can't babysit your own kids. Those are your children. It's not babysitting. You're not helping.
You're making time for your kids.
You're supposed to. Yes.
You're supposed to. It shouldn't be like a job. It shouldn't be like a job.
Exactly. It shouldn't be like a job. And it's sad, you know.
So for you, would you want like your hubby when you're married? Mm-hmm. I'm sure it definitely.
How do you know I'm not married?
You're not married. Come on. You're not married yet. Okay, not yet. I'd have known from your Instagram. So, I mean, at least we